clubs, I can see that was tricky for them because North did have a very good hand. But it's unfortunate that that is the third Grand Slam with an ace missing that the England team.
I prepared to be corrected, but it was perhaps the importance of being earnest.
Yes, but what action was he talking about?
I don't recall. It's possible that it wasn't bridge related.
The kibitzers know, they know everything. It's to lose one parent is unlucky, to lose both. Very careless.
Right, so we do know that we are getting Forrester and Robson in this room, north-south. And let's see, east-west. Well, Maxtroth and Rotwell, aren't we lucky?
Aha!
Same pairings we had this morning in the morning set. In the other room we had Gold Bakshi against Nickel Cuts. So let's see what we get in the closed when we get the player names up there. Remember that everyone will have to play at least 1/3 of the boards.
Gosh, not master points don't mean that much, do they?
No, not to these players, no.
Who even knows about them? Yes, I can see that you might want to play your third pair a couple of times anyway, so keep the other two fresh, or perhaps with some teams there's not much difference between them, but you wouldn't want to risk losing a close match, it's true, just to save someone master points if they're still going to get medals.
So England lost four, well, they lost four imps of the 11 they had before start of play, and they're leading by 7 now.
Yes, but that was one set where they played their top lineup and the USA team had fielded their sponsor, so anyway, I'm just glad that they did well in the round robin and got through. Can't complain if they do happen to go out, but I know they'll be really hoping to win this one. That would be splendid if they could.
Yeah, of course you can complain if you don't like it. You can complain about rugby if you don't like it, but you certainly can't complain about Southampton.
No, I watched the whole game on Sky. Anyway, I never mind if a team I support loses by a lot, because it just means they had no chance anyway. Just weren't good enough on the day.
So a Jacobi-like auction here. 2 no trumps with spade support. It's normal for people to play that. 4 spades probably showing a minimum with no shortage. I must confess I don't like the jump to 4 spades. I don't play that method at all, because partner may be rather strong, and then you shut him out with your 4 spade bid. I much prefer 3 clubs to show any minimum. In case partner is very strong, then he has room to investigate, ask for shortage and some such.
You see that the alternative of making a splinter bid on the south hand would not be so accurate, really. It's too strong for that. He's got 5 trumps, a singleton, and quite a lot of big cards. Whole point about a splinter bid is not only to show that you've got game values and the singleton that you tell him about, but that you don't have much more. In other words, you're going to need a particularly good fit in the short suit, or quite a lot of extra values before a slam will be possible. Should be a limit bid made in a narrow range of responding hands. Don't think I'm being pessimistic when I say that all 3 England teams, who wonderfully for us have got through into the knockout stage, face very strong opposition, and it's not going to make us fall off our chairs. Hope I'm not putting a curse on them if all 3 teams were knocked out at this stage, because they're playing some of the strongest teams around. The draw for opponents hasn't paid off well at all for the England teams, or the choice of opponents rather. The finishing positions they had in the round robin didn't pay off well.
In the other room we have Levin Weinstein against Gold Bakshi. Also in 4 spades on board 17. Weinstein splintered, 1 spade, 4 hearts. Okay.
Now we've got 33 points here. I'm told that means a slam.
Yeah. No fit, so probably 6 no trumps. How good is that? 4 hearts, 2 spades, 6, 2 diamonds, 8, 2 clubs, 10. So we need to find 2 tricks.
Well, it's at least as good as a finesse. If the spade finesse works, you've got 12 tricks, I think.
Now this must be a slam try.
No, doesn't look like it. I mean, he had the option of bidding 4 no trumps, didn't he? With 16, he had a 4-3-3-3 hand and 31 through 33. So even if it was 33, looks like he's judged that with that 4-3-3-3 shape he should sit back. Mild slam try, they say.
Yeah, of course it is. He has no major. So if he wasn't interested in slam, he would just bid 3 no trumps. 1 no, 3 no. So it must imply that it's a slam try.
I'm sorry? Was 2 no trumps forcing after Stayman or something like that?
Yeah. 2 clubs is a game forcing relay.
Ah, right. Well, if he's got a mild slam try, South has a maximum, doesn't he?
Yep. But it looks like they did well to
Means, because, particularly as it matches his hand and the explanation that he gave, but I don't understand why Robson passed, that's all.
Well, luck's a fortune. It's about a 51% slam, and it doesn't make. The spade is offside.
well, he knows. I mean, Robson knows that they have no fit. That they don't even have a 4-4 fit anywhere.
Well, doesn't make any difference if you've got a good 17 count and partner makes a slam try. I suppose he hasn't bid 4 no trumps. If he bid 4 no trumps, then you would go. So maybe this sequence is so mild that you don't. The 17 count is not good enough. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Forrester is 1 level lower than from having bid 1 no trump, 4 no trumps. In that case, he's probably. You know, when all the textbooks say you should lead passively against 6 no trumps, it's pretty obvious that that's right, because they're going to have loads of points, and if you're leading away from an honour, the chances are it may give a trick away. Well, that hand is an obvious example of that, because West had 2 suits where he had queen to 3 from the queen of spades would be into a tennis and would give it away. From the queen of clubs would almost certainly give a trick. Doesn't, as it happens, because De Clare has got ace king bear opposite jack 10 to 4. So I'm sure they would lead a heart from 5 to the 10, which is most unlikely to give a trick away.
One no, 4 no so far in the other room.
Right, now he does now he does have an obvious, excuse me, 6 no trumps, but he may
Glass of water for David Bird.
Yeah. Now once
no, a
we
sip,
decided,
sip of cold coffee.
once we decided to bid 5 hearts over 4 no trumps, probably showing aces. And do you remember, Bill, that you commented on that in the first?
Well, I do remember. I think 5 hearts should be a natural bid. But we did indeed comment on that, and I suggested to people that after a acceptance of a quantitative 4 no trumps, you should not show your aces, you should bid naturally.
Well, that much is clear, but it still remains to be decided whether 5 hearts would show 4 or 5.
Well, Norse took it as natural because he raised to 6 hearts.
Of course it's natural, because 4 no trumps wasn't Blackwood. It's a question of how many hearts it shows.
Well, I think it should show 4 or 5. I mean, these auctions are very easy because you've committed to a slam once you've bid on over 4 no trumps. You could bid 5 hearts with 5 of them, perhaps giving partner a chance to suggest a 5-card minor. And if partner's got 3-card support, he can bid 5 no trumps. And now you just bid 6 hearts to confirm the 6th one. So there's no reason to jump around with 5, in my opinion.
I agree. Asked, do you like 2 hearts with 6 spades and 5 diamonds? Let me tell you first, no, I would normally not do it when I have 6 cards in the major. Then I would rather either overcall or double first. But then again, if I double first, it's very difficult to get both suits in later. So I suppose with a hand this strong, you could make an exception and bid Michaels with 6 spades. What's your view on that, David and Bill?
I'm quite happy with Michael's, as you say, not usually with 6 spades, but here he's strong enough to bid again. So if he gets a response in diamonds, he can then bid spades. If he was weaker and was not intending to bid again, then it would be a poor bid, because you might miss a game in spades if partner had, say, King Doubleton of spades and something in diamonds, and you still wanted to be in the major suit game.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you both.
Okay. Yes. The only issue is, of course, if partner asks for your minor. You see, are you going to hide your minor? And then you may miss your 6-2 spade bid, right?
I think you must follow it through and bid your major next to show the 6-5 with the strong hand, as we've discussed.
On this hand, you certainly couldn't show your minor at the minimum level. You'd have to bid, say, 4 diamonds anyway. If you weren't going to bid spades. If you were going to bid spades, then I suppose 3 spades would be forcing.
So Weinstein's still playing 6 hearts at the other table, but no way he can make it on this layout.
They suggest a totally double dummy line in the written commentary. I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, we did mention the auction at the other table. Yeah, a bit strange to end up in a 4-3 fit. As it happens, it makes no difference really.
So did 5 hearts simply get raised to 6?
Yeah, it did.
Extraordinary.
Well, I don't see that it's extraordinary.
Because you expect 5 hearts to show 5, David.
Well, I do, because the responder can bid Stayman on the way to 4 no trumps. So if he wanted to look for a 4-4 heart fit, he would have started with Stayman. If you bid Stayman and don't find a 4-4 fit, you can bid 4 no trumps then, and that is still a limit raise, so a direct 4 no trumps should deny a 4-card major.
Well, you're making some assumptions about their methods. A lot of people would play Stayman followed by 4 no trumps, particularly if partner has shown a major, as Blackwood, as keycard Blackwood.
Goodness me, it's in all the textbooks that I've ever written, that's not right. You should be allowed to look for a fit and then make a limit bid. How are you going to do it otherwise? I mean, a lot of people do use Gerber, it's true, on that sequence, but I don't think you should use 4 no trumps as Blackwood, not in Europe anyway.
Well, why not make the limit bid and then look for a fit? I'm sure that's what South expected here. He didn't think North was denying a major, and he was just bidding naturally. Anyway, I mean, they obviously didn't have their they weren't in sync on the auction because they bid to a fairly silly contract. It wasn't that much inferior to 6 no trumps, but it certainly wouldn't have been what they expected to do.
Well, Roland told us a few days ago that Mextroth and Rodwell had something like 1,100 sheets in their system. Now, it doesn't make sense that one pair has 1,100 sheets and another pair of world-class players don't even know what 4 no trumps means. That should be in a sort of 6-page system summary. It's amazing to me.
The systemic bid for Robson now is 3 clubs, which is a splinter bid, would you believe? And promising 3+ cards in the other suits.
So having bid 3 clubs, I guess he can bid 3 no trumps now. He's already admitted to the Singleton club, and he doesn't have a fit for the major that Forrest has shown, so he would be showing that he's got 4 hearts. Now Forrester has to decide whether King Jack 1 is okay, or if he should maybe play in diamonds. Can expect his partner to have 5 diamonds here, more or less the sort of shape he's got. 4 hearts, didn't have 4 spades, so is likely to have 5 diamonds.
Well, no surprise that he passed 3 no trumps, because the King of Clubs is no good opposite a Singleton in a suit contract, is it?
No. If they have splintered in a major, they promise 4 of the other major. When they splinter in a minor, they do not guarantee 4-4 in the majors.
That's interesting, because I would have thought the more standard way of playing that auction 1 no trump 3 of a major is for it to show 5-4 in the minors and exactly 3 of the other major. But maybe not. How do you guys play that auction?
I play it like you just described it. So it is a bit unusual, but they have agreed that it shows 4 of the other major. I agree with you. I play it as 3-1-5-4 or 3-1-4-5. But with a hand like that, they would go through 2 spades to show that hand.
Yes, I would venture to say of all the pairs here at this event, there's not 2 that play exactly the same way after their one-note trump opening. It's a wonderful area for private system agreements that depart from the norm. Everyone's got their own little structures.
Exactly.
Can you tell me, Roland, who is playing for England at the other table?
Yes. Gold Bakshi. So with the hand you described before, Bill, they would go through 2 spades, which is either invite with no major, invite in a minor, or game forcing with both minors.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'm breaking up for David, so he left the table to see if it helps. So how many tricks do we have here? We have 4 tricks already. So the contract is safe enough. David tells me that he has lost the right to speak. Can you reset it? I did ungag him, but apparently that didn't help. So he may have to exit completely, perhaps even reboot. Do you have a problem with my sound, Bill? Is it only David?
Yeah, no problem for me, Roland.
No problem, I'm told you're great. Yeah, referring to my sound, I suppose. Thank you very much.
Keith Forrest has played the wrong position here. Not that it matters. But if East has the king of hearts, he's going to get end played with it.
All kinds of requests here from spectators. Could you please tell the BBO regraph operator in the match between China and USA2 that where at the table where Hurd Wooldridge are, I can't see Hurd's face. Can he please move the camera?
I'm sure you'll be right onto it, Roland. Isn't it nice to have such a wonderful reputation for fixing all possible problems?
Contract on 19 is also 4 spades in the other room, where West decided to overcall a spade. Sorry, correction, he did bid 2 hearts. Yeah, Eric Kokich, yeah, might overcall 1 spade. There's no hand too strong for an overcall in his view. Even a max for him. That's true.
Right, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? Because you said I was breaking up.
Yes. I just had an amazing private message to say that USA2 made 6-no trumps on that hand we just saw because the Chinese West led from queen to 3 spades. Isn't that unbelievable?
Queen 10 and another, in fact. And yep, I don't believe it. Didn't happen, couldn't happen, only in a different universe.
So what are the options for Robson here with invitational values and 3-card spade support? Of course, he may treat it as a game-forcing hand. He can bid 2 clubs if he treats it as a limit race with 3-card support. If he treats it as game-forcing, he can still bid 2 clubs, I suppose.
Yes, too good for the 3-card invitational raise, which is one of the 3 possibilities for an initial 2 clubs, 3-way bid.
Yes, 2 clubs is either natural, balanced, game forcing, or a limit race in spades, 3-card support.
Well, I think that hand is a game force, isn't it? You wouldn't stay
Well, it
out
is
of game
now.
there.
Once diamonds are bid and raised, singleton diamond goes up in value because East is going to raise diamonds pretty high.
But even before, it's a hand that's not that easy to evaluate. But I think it'd be a very brave man that stayed out of game with it in playing imps.
Right, now it is not so obvious for East-West to decide what to do. The usual rule is that after preempting you just let the opponents sit where they are and hope they've gone wrong. Here, for example, Robson may have had the game try values in spades as far as they know. Perhaps that is how he's evaluating it. North may hold a minimum, so they may have pushed South to bid more than his hand is worth. So it's not that obvious, even with white against red, that they should go to 5 diamonds.
Still, it wouldn't be the crime of the century, would it, for East to bid 4 diamonds and then 5? He tries 4 diamonds to see if that can talk them out of 4 spades, but when they go ahead and bid it, he takes the save. I've had this argument with other people who think that, well, you mustn't do this, but I can see certain logic to bidding 4 and then 5.
Yes, he's heard something from his partner. Mind you, his partner's just passed, so that doesn't really change it. But he can say that he's got negative defense, really. His 4 diamonds are useless, and they also subtract from whatever partner was expecting to take in defense, because probably one of the opponents has a singleton diamond. So he's just got to work out what it's likely to cost. In particular, if he's expecting to go for 500, then he shouldn't sacrifice, because that's only a possible 120 gain and can be a double figure imp swing away if 4 spades isn't making. So he should only bid if he thinks he might get out for 300. His partner has spurned the chance to sacrifice, so maybe he has got some defense. So Declarer was thinking, was going to lose a club trick anyway, and he certainly doesn't want to lose the king and get a ruff. Pretty obvious that lead is a singleton.
You first, Bill.
I was just going to say that Mech's a little unlucky here, and he's very close to getting the club ruff necessary to beat this contract, but not quite.
Now I'm asked, or statement rather, Rotwell thought some time before passing. Can Mech bid on then? It was obvious who was thinking even with screens. Was it? Really?
Yes, he absolutely can bid on ethically, because it wasn't obvious who was thinking with the screen. It might have been his left-hand opponent. It would be a different matter if the screen was running from the bottom left to the top right, so that the 4-spade bid came on his left, and then there'd been a big pause before he saw pass, because then he knows the person on his right couldn't possibly have had anything to think about over 4 spades, and the hesitation would have clearly been coming from his partner.
Well, he still must have an obvious bid. He's not allowed to guess who was hesitating either. So it was a good question from the kibitzers.
On board 20 in the other room, USA has gone past 3-no trumps now, and danger looming. Contract is 5 diamonds. I didn't analyze 5 diamonds. Is that okay? Let's have a look.
Looks like another good question asked by Victor Silverstone. He's saying that there was some case for an immediate 5 diamond bid by East, which would have really put the pressure on North-South.
5 diamonds is interesting, that's for sure. And a spade lead from either side. You are going to have to draw 3 rounds of trumps. I think it's in
Well,
its spotted
there we
bottle.
go. Not one player in 100 would have opened one spade in the old days. They would have opened four spades
David,
typically, or a few old fogies, three spades.
in the previous set, Mextroth, I think, opened one spade, one heart with ace, king, queen to six hearts and out.
Robson
And
didn't like four
interestingly,
spades with the three doubletons, and knew that he could so easily miss a game if he opened three spades on such a strong hand. So you can describe one spade as the modern opening on that hand.
Well, four spades by Robson could be anything. We saw that in the first set, where he first in hand opened four spades with an opener, where most people would open one spade.
yeah, you need a scorecard to follow these guys. I would have thought that, I totally agree with David, that you shouldn't open three spades. The hand's too strong for that. But I think four spades was certainly a plausible opening bid.
Now, two hearts is
I think if
game
we look at the
forcing.
hand records, we will find most players have opened four spades, yeah.
So two hearts is game forcing. So three spades doesn't promise extra values. It promises a very good suit, a suit that can play for no more than one loser opposite a small singleton. So it will set the suit, so one would assume that four clubs is a cubit.
Okay, well, effortlessly handled there. And I think the bad spade break suggests that this will make without an overtrick.
Right, I'm going to have to go out and in again because I'm getting sound problems with the other commentators' voices breaking up for me. Nothing to do with my excellent hearing, I can assure you, just some electronic annoyance. I hope to be back shortly. Last time I went out, though, I lost my permission to speak, and we'll give it a try.
Bill, when do you think I should tell him that I gagged him when he left? When is a good time?
The man just can't take a hint, can he?
I have the power to mute people, but I didn't.
He's back.
He's back. Are we still breaking up for you, David?
No, it's okay again, but it's just so annoying when you expect everything to work perfectly. One of the problems is that if we can't hear each other, then we're likely to be both talking at once, which has happened a few times. Anyway, perhaps it's my fault for not having my fingers crossed. I'd say that I think their auction was an excellent one. It was great that Robson could show excellent spades with his jump without showing extra values. North then got a cube bid in. South didn't like the idea of a slam, so that was a great auction.
Five diamonds on 20 did make, but only just, so won it to England.
Yes, West did not lead his singleton, which I find very surprising, even looking at the auction where he knew that North had spades. And whilst perhaps it's makeable on the singleton lead, it was a whole lot easier to make on a club lead.
Yeah, singletons. Yeah, well, a singleton is such a good lead that you need a very good excuse not to lead one. And the excuse we saw the other day, didn't we, Bill? When someone had ace-king.
Ace-king, yeah.
In a side, ace-king in the side suit, yeah.
For those Kapitzers in Europe who don't like to get up early, first of all join the club, and secondly, on the very first board of the first session, some East players, including England's Fiona Brown, did lead a singleton against a slam, hoping for a ruff, and yes indeed, their partner ruffed the singleton Jack of Clubs lead.
Or 21, USA pushed to 5 spades. Interesting.
Got pushed there, I suppose, did they, Roland, with a 5-diamond sacrifice?
Exactly right. They did bet 5 diamonds, so they had won the board already by betting 5 diamonds.
Two diamonds is an inverted raise. Two clubs would have been three-way, as we saw on an earlier hand, and was therefore not really available.
Wow. You have a delay, David, because I could hear my own voice about 10 or 15 seconds after I finished. How can you race with 3, I'm asked? Because one diamond always promises at least 5 for them in an unbalanced hand. So that's why. Could be 4-4-4-1. Robson and Forrest. Robson playing with all 3 earlier. they would open one club, actually, also with a singleton. But they changed that, I believe.
Well, what very, very welcome news.
What is?
Queen of Diamonds falling.
Oh, I thought you meant the 5 spades in the other room on board 21, because that was also good news. England gained 12.
Ah, I see. They did go all the way to 5 diamonds. But that was a very, very close decision going to 5 spades, wasn't it? He had a free... Yeah, I wondered if Forrester might have made a free rebid of 2 spades, but he didn't at our table. North did there. Yes. Only had a singleton diamond. Well, I mean, the 5 diamonds, that's... If you're jumping to 5 diamonds, even if you're expecting to go for 500, that's not so bad, because you get another plus that you make it awkward for the guy who's bidding over your preemption. So maybe on that bidding there was more reason to bid 5 than 4, but 5 is attractive anyway, as Victor pointed out.
Yes, you can hardly blame South, can you, for pushing on to 5 spades when his partner volunteered 2 spades. It's pretty much an automatic bid. So, well done to either Gold or Bakshi there for the full-blooded race to 5.
No,
So
because
really
5 diamonds might be very cheap, looking at it from the south hand. If there's a big black cut.
Gosh, 1 diamond. There's no nut lower limit at all for their opening bids these days.
Well, one more telling me that I'm breaking up. So if that's an overall problem, I can either leave or try to exit and come back. I know David has a problem, not only with me, also with Bill, because he's talking over Bill occasionally. I can hear the last part of my sentence about 15 seconds after I finish, as an echo when David speaks.
Yes. Well, normally that's what Peter Luntz has as a problem, and occasionally other commentators. I don't think I've had it before. Also, my red line is hardly going at all across the broadcasting line, so something wrong with my connection. Anyway, I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting lots of messages. I'm fine. All okay for me. But it happens with all of you from time to time, I'm told. has to be the internet connection in general from India. That's also a possibility. Everything's possible, you know, with technology. Technology is great when it works.
Well, looks like this will make all right. Losing just 4 tricks in the minors.
I think we all have problems with running scores. Getting that message again with the internal server error 500. Bill is unique because he gets a different message, something about data.
Oh, I've regressed. I've got the 500 this time, not the no data found thing.
So, how is it now, David? Can you hear me? No. Not David's day. Yeah, he did say back in 5 minutes, but he is here now. We can see that.
Yes, he never left.
Oh, I see. So, okay. So maybe he had an errand. I'm asked, do Maxwell respond to one diamond with almost any hand? I don't know really.
I think they do respond very light. That's their style. I've seen some like 3 or 4 point responses. Well, he seems to have tried to drop a singleton king here. Well, well, well.
Yeah, not so good. Well, I'm told there was no way to go down. Well, there was a way, and he did go down.
Yeah, I think Victor was right. This didn't add up. So South will clearly have at least 4 hearts and at least 4 clubs for his takeout double, one would presume. He played South for a 1-4-4-4, I think, with a stiff king of spades. I'm not sure if that's consistent with Forrester's failure to return a diamond at trick 2. Um, 1-4-3-5, that's being suggested to me. Let's see now. No, that doesn't add up because Forrester led the 10 of clubs and then followed low and then played the king. He wouldn't have king 10-7. That would be a very strange play.
Well, I'm asked, are Macwell as good as they used to be? Difficult for us to say really, but there's some truth to it, I think. I think they peaked earlier, and that's no surprise, of course, because they are seniors now. So why not? I think they have been better. Doesn't mean that they aren't good, but there's some truth to it. What do you think, Bill?
I think I'll wait for the datums to come out. I understand the question because there's been a few mistakes from Jeff Mextroff recently on ViewGraph, but I don't know. I think it's a little presumptuous to suggest that they're on the way down. And it's so tempting to ask that question when Mextroff fails to take a finesse for his contract.
Yeah. But well, he did make a couple of mistakes the other day, didn't he? Strange play. He did apologise, but really.
Yes, he definitely misplayed 4 hearts against England in the round robin, if that's what you're referring to, and he did reportedly say sorry to his partner afterwards, just as he did here.
Yeah.
It's funny looking at the discussion about the opening lead, which was a small diamond from Queen third. Robson didn't lead what I would have thought was a fairly obvious heart from King fourth into the suit his partner had bid, perhaps fearing some sort of violent response from Forrester, who apparently doesn't like him to lead from kings.
Well, I'm not sure that applies to partner's suit, so to speak. I mean, Forrest did three hearts, so that should be okay. And as long as Ace Queen is in the dummy, Forrester won't mind. But
I mean, partner was in a sense just supporting his suit. And the heart lead could have worked very poorly. If you transplant that queen from west hand to east hand, then he leads a heart and gives away a trick, and Forrester rolls his eyes and screams at him saying, "I told you not to lead away from kings."
Right, I'll give it one more try. If we get problems, I'll go and do voice in the closed room.
Right. Part is constructive, but doesn't promise more than 5, apparently.
Says 6 on their convention card, but I think we may have noticed a discrepancy yesterday, didn't we, between the description there and what they were actually opening on.
Yes, it is supposed to be 8 to 11 with 6.
You see that you would need an absolute freak hand opposite to make 6 hearts. So there's not much point Robson going through the relay of 2 no trumps by going to 4 hearts.
Good, let's move on.
Many thanks to our excellent VG operator, Srinivasan, who's finding the time to give us a bit of a table chat to add colour to what we can see on our screens. If it, if it needed any more colour adding, always thought it was wonderfully designed, the BBO screen.
One club is strong, one diamond is not strong. 0 to 7, so Rod has a super max. One spade is a 1-round force with 4+ cards. Two no trumps game forcing. And only now did Rodwell show his clubs. 2 clubs didn't promise clubs. So, which heart should you lead here? Because you are going to lead a heart. Jack looks right from Jack 10-8. If you had Jack 10-6-3, for instance, there's a case for leading small. But I think most people will lead the Jack from Jack 10-8.
Right, Bill tells me, Roland, that he's getting the same problem that I had, that both you and now I are breaking up for him. So the link may be generally screwed up in some way. We can soldier on.
Okay,
I heard that part perfectly.
so did I. How about now? Am I breaking up? Or?
Yep, I hear you.
No,
Okay.
I think somewhere
it's
there's
all
some
okay now.
flakiness.
Must be a new terrorist group who absolutely hate bridge and are trying to get into the BBO system to mess it up for everyone.
No, no. They just hate us, not bridge.
You were asking about which heart, Roland? I would have thought the jack was pretty normal.
Yes, I said that. Well, maybe you didn't hear it, Bill. Jack 10-8, the jack is normal. I also said that if you have Jack 10-6-5, for instance, that could be a case for leading low.
Against no trump, yes. But when you've got touching honours, you should lead the honour against a suit contract, because the chances are the third round will be roughed somewhere, and you don't want your Jack 10 or your Queen Jack, Queen Jack to 4, to wither on the vine and play no role. Suppose one of the opponents had bid hearts and you nevertheless decided to lead from Jack 10 8x or Jack 10 9x against no trumps. You might sometimes then lead the low card, knowing that your third best card would probably have to be retained to guard against the fourth card from one of the whichever opponent had a 4-card suit.
Running scores are back. So let's see if Robson does the same as Forrester did. No. No 5-card suit for Robson. I mean, it's basically the same hand where Forrester opened 2 hearts.
It's incredibly similar. Although Forrester was at favourable vulnerability, Robson was at equal none, but same shape and roughly the same cards.
Indeed. Rotwell is in our camp, Bill, subscribing to the rule of 2 and 3. 7 losers, 3 spades. And 7-2-2-2 is awful anyway. So no reason to open 4 spades, although I know that some would. Some play the rule of 3 and 4, and some play the junior rule, where you can have as many losers as you like.
Depends which seat you're in. In second seat, that's pretty obvious 3 spade opening. In first seat, then 4 spades might work well. 3 spades would still be the choice of most.
We have 8,400 spectators altogether, the 12 tables. It's very good. 3,000 at this table, which is also very good, but not a surprise, of course.
Well, with the demise of the Monaco team, I dare say that Rodwell and Mextroth are the world's top draw to watch.
Yeah, it would probably be 2 spades for Victor. Just seem to have a dodgy internet connection, all of us. Well, many of us at least. Now Bill had a problem, had to log off to see if that helps. As far as he is concerned, he'll be back.
Well, I can hear you fine now, but before it was a question of just hearing half a sentence and then half of the next sentence, so something going wrong somewhere along the line. I think most people will raise 3 spades to 4 facing a second-hand preempt. People who play undisciplined preempts and open on queen to 6 or something, or jack to 7, then they might not go. But I mean 2 aces and a king, queen, jack, even if one of the aces is knocked out, as we saw, you've still got the chance to set up the king, queen, jack and get discards away in the other ace suit.
Right. We'll probably get to 3-note trumps here, which should be okay. Is there an avoidance play in clubs which you may need on a hard lead?
Yes, it's not without interest, 3 no trumps, isn't it? High heart led, ducked. Second heart, I think he takes it for fear of the spade switch. And then runs an avoidance if he can, which he can. Uses diamond entries to his hand to lead clubs up, attempting to duck to the north hand.
Two spades obviously shows shortage, and Forrester didn't double because he doesn't have any entries to go with those spades, so he doesn't want to perhaps put off partner from leading his own suit. Assume that's what it was. He's only got king queen 6 high anyway.
Actually, 3 no trumps has some nice symmetry about it. If the defence attacks spades, you win the first spade, the queen with the ace, and now you take the avoidance the other way. Your aim is to keep north out. You lead a club. When south ducks, you go up with the ace, come back to the diamond. When you play a second club, the queen goes in and you let it hold. And quite a cute little setup where you've got two different avoidance plays in clubs depending on which major the opponents attack.
So we'll see the avoidance play here. You don't see it very often, so it's worth paying attention to how you try to keep south out after 2 rounds of hearts.
It's a really good hand. You should definitely take the second round of hearts. This might help us with the question of whether Mextroff's getting too old or not.
Yep. And will we see the queen from Robson when he plays a club towards dummy? Now that would be great. Well, he has to win that.
Then he can go back and lead the 10 next time.
Yep.
It's a sort of frightening title, really. Avoidance play sounds as if it may be advanced, but all it really means is that when you're setting up a suit and will have to lose a trick, or may have to, that you arrange to lose it to the safe hand, the hand who can't damage your contract. The example often given in books is you're in 4 spades with 4 trumps missing to the queen, and if you can afford to lose a trump trick, you may deliberately take a finesse into the safe hand so that the defenders have no chance of attacking a suit where you have, say, king to 3 opposite 3 low. So if you play off the ace-king, you might then lose the 3rd round to the queen, to the defender who could lead through your king. But by finessing in trumps, you make the contract safe if you've got discards coming eventually.
Well, I did expect a heart. I didn't expect the 4, I have to say. Admittedly, it is 4's best from your longest and strongest, but it's very unusual.
This is a different problem. And he's playing for the blockage. Yeah. Amazing hand.
Robson couldn't possibly be under leading King, Queen, Jack, so Forrester may have a doubleton honour, is his reasoning.
Mind you, that doesn't quite hold water, does it? Because a doubleton honour is not enough. I think he just played for hearts to be 4-3 and raised with the ace in order to avoid a spade come through his gizzard of his ace-jack-9.
Yes, a doubleton honour could be unblocked anyway, so it would only pay off if he had, say, 10 to 4, that sort of thing. Maybe that doesn't add
Well,
up
what
anyway.
an
Yeah, he didn't want the spade switch, yeah.
amazing development, really, because the low heart lead threatened the entry with North, whereas the high heart lead, the King of Hearts lead, he could safely duck and then hope to keep off lead even if South found the spade switch.
Well, just have to congratulate Robson. Well done.
I raced to switch on the video to see what the expressions of the face on the faces.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lead certainly killed my immediate level play problem, and that's the only level I'm qualified to commentate on, unfortunately. Couldn't see that low heart lead, and it's entirely possible that Robson did it deliberately. This is not the sort of hand where you... I mean, was it possible that partner had ace-X of hearts? I'd have to have a look at the rest of the auction.
Mm-hmm. But we missed the avoidance play. What a shame. Do you want to replay it, David? And let it run to the 10, or lead the Queen or the King of Hearts?
What we saw was 100 times more entertaining than an avoidance play. Absolutely amazing, really.
It's got to make the bulletin, doesn't it?
We should.
It may even rise above it and actually make the English Bridge article.
Oh man, incredible. Well, they destroy this too.
Three, four, 3 down.
Yep, 3 down.
Well, I've got a comment from Kibitzer on Robson's wonderful lead. See what you make of it. This is his analysis of how Robson found the lead. He knew he had no entry. He knew dummy had a stiff spade. He knew declarer spades weren't good enough to bid 3 no trumps rather than 3 diamonds. He led that for the right reason, in my humble opinion. World-class stuff. Certainly worth us all having a close look at that later. I can't remember seeing a lead like it.
Well, it's possible. It's also possible, unfortunately, that he thought that his partner might have ace doubles and hearts, and that was the only way to run the suit.
Yep. Yes, if declarer had the ace, he could just hold it up and cut him out because he's got no side entry, which in fact is what could have happened. His lead was a spot card with 1 below missing, so it could have been 4th best if the other missing card, I think it may have been the 3, was with Forrester.
Yeah, I think it was King, Queen, Jack, 4, 3. We can look it up, of course.
Another spectator has a slightly alternative analysis. He thinks that perhaps Robson just pulled the wrong card and had a mechanical accident.
You can pick between those 2 explanations.
That's right. They're at the extreme.
Well, he has a bridge club. He teaches bridge, you know, all the time, and he teaches to lead 4th best from your longest and strongest against no trump, and that's exactly what he did. So what's wrong with that?
Oh, right. He didn't want to disappoint his pupils. I get it.
Robson said he was apologising for not having reopened with a double, which maybe would have got 800, but I'm not so certain that North would have passed a double on the hand he had. Would have been clubs, surely. He's only got 4 trumps, 4 small trumps. I think it was a joke.
So this time he does reopen with a double.
So that's a great reopening. When you find partner with a good 5-card heart suit, the double is great. When you don't, it's not so great.
Yeah, this is one of their sets when a pair walks on water. Look at all the winning decisions they've been taking. And this is another one I imagine poor Hearts is going to make easily enough. Trump lead might cause it some angst.
They are still playing board 26 at the other table, would you please? David Gold is in 3 no trumps. As he's. This is a good lead.
I'll go for the diamonds, I guess, rather than sort of futile spade roughs.
Yeah. Now the reason we have no play from the other table is that the director has been called to the table. I don't know why. They're having a bit of an argument in the other room, I'm told. Excellent. Great. Exciting.
I have the video pictures up, and there's a delay of several seconds compared with the actual cards being played. We're seeing them more quickly on this electronic screen than on the video screen.
I'm asked about the video link to the closed room. I don't have it. Do you have to go to that room and click on the video button there to get it, or what? Anybody know?
Well, that's one route in, presumably. Gosh, that's a really good presentation on YouTube, actually, isn't it? You can see all the cards clearly on just similar diagram to what we have here, and the players too. The only tiny thing that you're missing is commentary. Haha.
But you can't see John Hurd's face, David, and that is a problem. Well, we see what happens on 26. Well, it's one imp so far on 26. On 27, it will be a swing to USA, because England stopped in 3 spades at the other table. Gold passed 3 spades. Well, he must have seen Bakshi's 3 openings before, since he passed. Most people would raise. Maybe he thinks that Bakshi should have opened 4 spades with that hand. But it's all a matter of agreement. How many tricks do you promise? In second seat at love all, I think your preamp should be pretty disciplined in second seat, because there's one partner and one opponent to preempt.
Yes, well, I did raise the question as to whether that was a raise, and I was certainly expecting some players not to raise around the many tables we've got in play. It's turned out that it's happened on the England East-West table.
You may have to take that back, Bill, you said earlier about this contract making.
I've already taken it back. Yeah, that was an overbid.
Has some play, but the diamond position has killed it, it seems.
Yeah, but it's suggested that he plays a club now. But even if he does, it won't really help him, will it? Say he plays a club to the king. What is he going to do after that? So that's exactly what's happening now. And I don't think he has any good answer with this diamond layout. Well, 10 of clubs he could have played and let it run. Well, that's too deep for me. And would it be
Yeah,
enough?
look, he's playing for diamonds 3-3. If the diamonds are 3-3, he can rough one now, play another club up, and he's still got a trump to control the spades, and he hopes to get something going in that way.
Yeah, but then they can kill dummy, can't they?
By giving him a rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he roughs a good diamond and draws the trumps. I don't know. This is why I thought for a long time, but I think he does have a play here if diamonds are 3-3. I think the real problem is if they play a third club. That wrecks the entry to dummy. Oh no, but then he can draw the trump with the king.
Yes, it's spade that would cause the problem.
Well, I don't think it did. If diamonds are 3-3, this roughs out, and now he just plays another club up, and as long as he doesn't lose a club rough, he's home and hosed.
Yes, but with diamonds 4-2, I don't think he can do anything.
Yeah, well, he wasn't exactly home and hosed. In fact, the fact that he's roughed this with the jack of hearts means that he was running a different line of play.
I think, as we mentioned at the time, it was a pretty bold double by Robson. And he found such a good hand from Forrester, and it was in fact a playable game, but not quite there.
I'm asked why no Bulgaria, Sweden? Because remember, we have 12 matches, and we only have 12 tables. So we can only show 6 matches. So we can't show every team in every segment. So they are sitting out, so to speak, now. This match will be on in the last segment today also. And that's only fair, because this is, of course, the match most people want to follow. So I sympathize with the organizers. They have to switch a little among the other matches. Yeah, was good defense. I agree with that.
Looks like 3 spades was touch and go, depending on how well it's defended. Declare is threatening to set up a discard on dummy's diamonds here. That's on the previous board, of course.
So this is a weak 2, the multi, weaker than 2 hearts would have been.
4 to 8 points.
And now Rodwell is looking at his written defense to the multi 2 diamonds, I'm sure. Remember, they are allowed to have a written defense in front of them. We did comment on that when you were not there, David, earlier today. And we called it ridiculous and ludicrous.
Well, the ACBL are entitled to make whatever rules they like, but I don't see why they should then pass on to World Championships. Apart from anything, hearing the rustling of sheets of paper implies he doesn't have an obvious bid.
There you go, David. The rustling, in fact, caused some byplay.
Got a musing comment from a kibitzer. He says, Meckwell treating it as a convention from outer space.
Right. It is not recommended that you pass on your first turn when you have an opener. But they play it like that, and they don't have to remember it, because they can just look it up. I'm prepared to say ridiculous again, and I mean it.
Well, I'll tell you why I think their written defence is inferior, in my humble opinion. It's all very, I mean, their defence is clearly that they pass here and expect to double a heart contract later for takeout. But the problem with that method is, if the auction goes perhaps at different vulnerability, 2 diamonds, pass, 4 hearts, pass or correct, pass back to you. And now you've managed to get yourself preempted up at the very high level because you didn't take the opportunity of making a bid at the low level. So I strongly recommend against the pass of Rodwell's there as a matter of defence to the multi.
Another way it can go wrong is if the opener has spades and it goes 2 diamonds past 2 hearts, pass.
Easy.
Yes. I'm asked how come the multi is so scary to a top rich player. Well, it isn't really scary to top rich players, at least not in Europe and Australia. But perhaps in USA, I know that many Americans get the shivers every time they hear the word multi, and I really don't understand why.
Well, I think it's heavily restricted at the club level. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's probably not allowed according to their GCC, the General Convention chart, and therefore it's not played very much.
Well, I think the point is that the ACBL are trying to protect their general membership who don't like to have tricky bids like that against them. They're trying to help them, and that rule is then just applies to the whole of the USA, including the experts. It's totally laughable that people playing in the Bermuda Bowl find that difficult when you think of some of the other methods, forcing passes and so on, that have been played both in the past, and it's just unbelievable. And also that it's, as I said, fair enough for the ACBL to protect their general membership. No reason why they should also protect people playing in international trials. And certainly to then say the whole world must play this way in the Bermuda Bowl, I just can't understand how that happened, because I can't think that any other country has enforced such a regulation back at home.
Well, I've just been thoroughly corrected about the GCC. Indeed, it is not allowed from the GCC, and it's not allowed at the mid-chart level, which I think is the regional level, perhaps, except in matches of 6 or more boards. So it's heavily restricted.
Before this flicks off, we must, it's our duty and pleasure to make a few thank yous on this last board. Many thanks to our fantastic view graph operator, Sir Vinivasam Iyengar. Really great. He actually gave us a few bits of dialogue from the table, so that's very kind. Many thanks to BBO as always, and of course to my favourite 2 co-commentators, Jacob and Roland Valt.
There will be a break now for an hour. The last segment today, starting in 1 hour and 2 minutes.
Right, I have a good snippet from a kibitzer. The multi is not allowed at the Andrew Robson Bridge Club. Haha. He runs one of the biggest and most successful bridge clubs with a huge teaching base. I think it's in Fulham in London. And he does what he can to make the game as pleasant as possible to everyone, and he's sort of worshipped there, deservedly so, probably the top teacher in England.
The English seem to have done well here to scrape to a halt, screech to a halt in 4 diamonds. Let's see. Yes, they've done very well. Probably the last available plus.
Yeah. Never happens to me. Queen Jack Doubleton in diamonds.
And the heart ace on side to boot. So I was pretty lucky, but let's face it, it's a devil of a hand to bid. Quite a lot of strength of one form or another in the north-south hands.
I'm asked, can you recommend an easy defense to the multi? Yeah, we did that this morning, but you might not have been here, and we might have new listeners. We could recommend, I think, that you double with any opening strength in the 12 to 15 or 70 plus range, 12 to 15 balanced, or any 17 plus. That you bid a natural 2-note trumps to show 16-18, and that you bid a suit as constructive but non-forcing. That's easy, and it's good.
And then after the double of 2 diamonds, either party can make a takeout double of a bid that might be natural by the opponents.
Well, yeah, of course there's more to it. I mean, delayed bids and some such. But for a start, you can play this in second seat and you will do just fine. Do I need stoppers in both majors for 2-note trumps? I'm asked. Ideally, yes. but sometimes you don't have it, and you bid 2-note trumps regardless. I mean, multi-opener rarely has a solid suit, so don't worry about it. Get in.
Yeah, you've got choices in those scenarios. You can gamble and bid 2-note trumps. They may not find the right suit to lead, or partner might provide a stopper. Or you can revert to doubling 2 diamonds and choose to try and find out what their suit is if you think it will be helpful to you in the bidding, and then bid accordingly. So there are several ways to go when you've got one major suit stopped only.
As expected, there was a swing on board 28, 10 imps. I mean, that brilliant lead of Robson's, the 4 of hearts. Go figure. I'm sure David has taken it for English bridge already.
At this very moment,
It'll probably be too late for Bill, because in 1 hour it will be close to 10 p.m. for you, won't it, Bill?
right, I want to tell Bill something quickly. I just saw the play in that 3-no trumps on 28 at the other table, where the 9 of hearts was led from north and won by the jack and ducks, and south then switched to a spade. And now declarer did win and lead twice towards the ace-king of clubs, ducking when the queen appeared, which is one of the 2 avoidance plays that he suggested might happen, so that should please him and me too.
Excellent. Yes, the one where you need to force south to win the trick, so you lead towards the hand and duck whenever you see the queen. And Roland, the bad news for me is that, unbeknownst to me, the clocks went forward this morning by an hour. So in fact, it's got even later for me, so I won't be joining you for the 3rd set.
Too bad. Maybe see you tomorrow. Certainly hope so.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you all. See you in 50 minutes or so. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and again to Kathy and Stanley in the USA who've been following this all the way through. Great to have so many kibitzers. Bye for now.